All right, let's talk about Paper 6, Economic, Commercial, and Intellectual Property Laws. Now, this paper, it's a bit of a strange one, isn't it? It's like two completely different worlds, economic law and IP law mashed into one syllabus. And that creates the biggest headache for students. What do I study? How deep should I go? And is there anything I can actually skip? Well, today, our data-driven analysis is going to give you all the answers. Let's jump right in.
You know, most students look at the 20 chapters in Paper 6 and they make one huge mistake. They try to give every single chapter the same amount of attention. And what's the result? Come exam day, they feel, well, average everywhere, but strong absolutely nowhere. But what if I told you the data paints a completely different picture? Our analysis shows that just 8 key chapters are responsible for over 60% of all the marks. Now that changes everything. We're going with data first so you can make the right decision.
So, let's dive into that data-driven solution. Okay, so you know the paper is split in two. Part 1, that's your economic and commercial laws for 60 marks. It's the bigger chunk with 14 chapters. Think FEMA, FDI, competition law, all the heavy hitters. Then you have Part 2, intellectual property laws for 40 marks. That's got 6 chapters. Now here's the thing. You can't use the same study strategy for both, and the data is going to make it crystal clear why.
So this brings us to the core of our strategy, the SSL tier system. And I want to be very clear about this. Every single classification you're about to see is based purely on data. No opinions, no guesswork, just cold, hard numbers.
We divide every chapter into one of 4 tiers. Tier 1, those are your power chapters. These are absolutely non-negotiable. Tier 2 contains the high-value chapters, the ones that give you a fantastic return on your study time. Tier 3 is for moderate coverage. One solid revision is all you need. And finally, Tier 4 is for selective study, where you spend the absolute minimum time possible. So let's see where each chapter fits, shall we? Let's start at the top. Tier 1, power chapters. These are the absolute juggernauts of this paper, the ones that have consistently delivered the most marks. And for Paper 6, we've got 3 of them. So, our 3 power chapters are competition law, with a massive 168 marks and appearing in all 10 sessions. Then there's consumer protection, with 99 marks and also a perfect attendance record. And third, patents. Now look at this. In just 5 sessions, it has racked up 95 marks with an average of 19 marks per exam. That is the highest of any chapter in the entire paper. Together, these 3 make up almost a third of all the marks. You have to master these first, no question.
And this brings us to the undisputed champion of the IPR section, patents. With that incredible average of 19 marks, it actually scores higher than the former giant, competition law. I mean, just think about it. Part 2 is worth 40 marks total, and this one single chapter consistently makes up almost half of that. Within IPR, patents is your #1 priority, period.
Okay, on to Tier 2, your high-value chapters. These are the ones you tackle right after you've locked down Tier 1. Now, Paper 6 has 5 chapters in this tier, but there is a really important trend you need to know about before you even think about opening the book. So Tier 2 has 5 chapters. In order of priority, you've got trademarks, FEMA, copyright, geographical indications, and FCRA. And together, they account for another 28.6% of all exam marks. But you really need to pay close attention to the data trends here because this tier shows us a very, very interesting pattern.
And here it is, that critical pattern I mentioned. 4 out of these 5 Tier 2 chapters are actually declining in importance. Take FEMA, for example. It used to be a 16-mark average chapter. Now, it's down to just 5. That is a massive drop. Copyright, FCRA, and GI are all trending down too. Now, this doesn't mean you skip them, not at all. But it does mean you have to be strategic. Focus only on the core provisions, the stuff that's been tested before. Don't waste your time trying to cover them from A to Z. Okay, let's move on to Tiers 3 and 4. Think of these as the chapters you tackle after you've completely mastered Tiers 1 and 2. The name of the game here is efficient coverage, not deep mastery.
So Tier 3 has 9 chapters. A lot of these, like foreign trade policy and SEZ, they show up pretty consistently, but only for about 5 or 6 marks. The strategy here is super simple. One good, solid revision covering the key stuff, and then you move on. But do keep an eye on the 2 rising stars in this tier, ODI and legal metrology. Their weightage has been slowly creeping up, so maybe give them a little extra love.
And finally, we have Tier 4. Benami transactions is actually on a slight upward trend, so it's worth covering the key definitions there. But the real story in Tier 4 is what we call smart skips.
I'm talking about Chapter 4 on ECB and Chapter 9 on fugitive offenders. Look, they've barely shown up, and together they're worth just 41 marks across 10 entire sessions. The data is screaming at us. Spend a maximum of 3 hours on both of these chapters combined. That's it.
And now for the most important part, the action plan. This is where we take everything we've just learned and boil it down into one simple, clear, data-backed strategy that you can use right away.
I need you to remember this number. 60.9%. That's the percentage of all marks in the last 10 exams that have come from just 8 chapters. Let that sink in. The other 12 chapters make up the rest. This isn't about recklessly skipping things. It's about intelligently investing your time and energy where it's going to give you the biggest reward. Data first, then your decision.
So here it is, our 60-30-10 formula for paper 6. It's simple. You're going to allocate 60% of your total study energy to absolutely mastering the 3 Tier 1 chapters. Then devote the next 30% to the 5 Tier 2 chapters, focusing on core provisions. And that last 10% of your energy? That's for all of Tiers 3 and 4 combined. One good revision for Tier 3 and just the key points for Tier 4. That is the plan. It's about studying smart, not just hard.
All right, let's do a final lightning round of our special flags. Remember to prioritize the rising stars, consumer protection, ODI, and legal metrology. For those declining chapters, the strategy is core coverage of tested topics only. And for our smart skip pair, chapters 4 and 9, the data has spoken. Cap your time at a maximum of 3 hours.
So, when you boil it all down, the crucial point is this. Your roadmap for paper 6 is now perfectly clear. The goal isn't just to study more, it's to study smart, focusing your energy where you know it's going to deliver the highest returns.
So your roadmap is set. Master Tier 1. Cover the core of Tier 2. Revise Tier 3 efficiently and handle Tier 4 selectively. But you now have a solid, data-backed framework to prepare with a clear sense of direction. Study smart and you will score better.